I don't want Trump at the game.
Hey, let him come. We're gonna boo the out of you, bro. Like, let him come.
As a Knicks fan, we don't want the distraction.
This president has no business showing up in New York City. I am dead serious.
The president got a rude awakening as he made his way into one of the most dangerous environments in American politics, a New York sports crowd, when you're this unpopular.
But right now we have a situation in Manhattan where they're stopping a watch party where people just want to have a good time because they can't get into Madison Square Garden with $42,000 seats. So they had the watch party outside the garden. They can't have it Monday because the POTUS, instead of saying, I'm going to fall back because it's important that people are having a good time, he's a little selfish. So...
I mean, we've all seen the videos. The city of New York at the moment is in a constant state of euphoria, it seems, with New Yorkers skipping over filled potholes, high-fiving each other as they say Nixon for, crime at an all-time low. It's the Sesame Street out there. And what does the president have to do just weeks after saying that he was too busy to attend his own son's wedding? He wants to show up to Game 3. And according to the Washington Post, some Knicks fans warned him in advance, expect a hostile reception, which it appears that he is getting.
Three of the NBA Finals tonight, up the street at Madison Square Garden. President Trump is going. City officials have told fans if they want to go to the game, if they're lucky enough to have the multi-million-dollar tickets, arrive 2 hours before game time. That's what the president's presence is going to do there. People might not like that, but they may have pretty firm opinions on the president already. With us now, CNN chief data analyst Harry Etten. So it may not be the 2 hours before the game thing that sets New York voters off when it comes to President Trump. How's he doing here?
Yeah, I would just say this. The president of the United States, Donald John Trump, may be more hated in his home state of New York than the San Antonio Spurs. Because what are we talking about here? Let's take a look here. Trump's not approval rating in New York State. You go back to January 2025. It was, not so great, but not so terrible. 5 points underwater. Well, look at where he's fallen to now. He is now 30 points underwater on the net approval rating in his home state of New York. A massive drop-off we have seen in his popularity in the Empire State.
And it's interesting, when you dig into some of these numbers, there were some groups, even in this very liberal state, that the president was doing well with.
Yeah, okay. A lot of the people who might be getting screwed tonight, especially with that watch party getting canceled, are working class New Yorkers. And those are the voters who have turned most against the president of the United States. Okay, Trump's approval rating in New York State with incomes under 50,000. Back in January 2025, he was actually slightly above water.
Do you want to see the warm welcome the president of the United States got tonight when he decided to pretend to be a basketball fan? Because he wanted to go to the NBA Finals in New York tonight. Do you want to see how much New Yorkers appreciated Donald Trump making them all come to the game hours early, forcing everyone to go through tons of extra screening, forcing New York City to cancel the public free viewing parties they had planned outside Madison Square Garden, just specifically so Trump could be there in person, even though he's only ever talked trash about the NBA and doesn't appear to have been an actual fan at all, at least for decades? Do you want to see the big, warm New York welcome that actual Knicks fans gave him when he arrived at the venue tonight? When they're waving at you with just one finger, it doesn't mean the same as another kind of wave. Big New York welcome tonight to President Donald Trump at the Knicks-Spurs NBA Finals game. Trump likes to claim that New York loves him. New York does not. In Manhattan, for the record, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance got 17% of the vote in the presidential election in 2024. Not 70%, 17%. Which means, given the choice between Donald Trump and allowing yourself to be plooped upon by the big drops of greasy water that drip out of the back of window-mounted air conditioners onto the sidewalk in the summer, I think New Yorkers would, if the choice is, have to think hard about it. Not sure which one seems worse. you want to see him arriving at the Garden one more time? Just one more time? Here it is. Donald Trump being lustily booed when he arrived at the venue tonight in New York. This was him being booed inside the venue when people spotted him during the national anthem.
Whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights.
Just kind of smile through it. Maybe they have a nickname for me that has an ooh sound in the middle of it. Maybe that's what that is. That happened tonight. What a sports fan, what a man of the people.
Okay, just watch this. Donald Trump just got the loudest boos ever during the NBA Finals between the New York Knicks and the San Antonio Spurs at Madison Square Garden. When they put him up on the Jumbotron during the national anthem, the crowd erupted in deafening boos, louder than anyone expected. New York City hates Donald Trump. I showed it from every single angle. Multiple crowd shots, bars across the boroughs, even a tight zoom on Trump getting mercilessly booed. His massive motorcade shut down 5 blocks and 2 avenues, creating a military-style perimeter that tanked the secondary ticket market and forced fans into hours-long lines. Meanwhile, Jared Kushner and his family, Trump's cabinet, and allies like James Dolan's luxury box oligarchs strolled in VIP style. Kai Trump was there too, while protesters outside held signs and chanted, "Fuck Trump," relentlessly. Trump even violated the U.S. flag code by saluting instead of standing with hand over heart.
President Donald Trump got booed at Game 3 of the NBA Finals. And now, suddenly, is not expected to attend Game 4 because of what officials are calling scheduling conflict and presidential obligation. Sure, maybe that's true. Portion of this commentary were inspired by and reference observation from the original Stitches video creator. Full credit to the creator of the Stitches video used for this documentary.
So, the president got booed at Game 3 of the NBA Finals, and now suddenly he's not expected to attend Game 4 because of scheduling conflicts and obligations. Right. Now listen, maybe he really is busy. I mean, president stuff, meetings, phone calls, whatever, you know. But let's be real. When you show up to an NBA Finals game, get booed by the crowd, calls airport level security, mess up the whole fan experience, and then decide, you know what? I'm not going to attend Game 4. People are going to connect those dots, and quick. And honestly, this is bigger than one booing moment. Because he has had this issue with the NBA for years. He doesn't like that players speak out. He doesn't like LeBron James talking politics. He doesn't like NBA players standing up for black lives, voting rights, police reform, or anything that makes certain people uncomfortable. His whole message has basically been, shut up and play. But here's the problem. That has never worked in basketball. Because basketball is not separate from real life. A lot of these players come from the same communities as the fans watching them. So they know what it feels like to be profiled. They know what it feels like to see their neighborhoods ignored. They know what it feels like when the system tells people, just be quiet and be grateful. So when players speak up, fans don't always see that as politics. They see it as somebody with a regular platform finally saying what regular people have been saying for years. That's why Bill Russell mattered. That's why Kareem mattered. That's why LeBron matters. That's why when the NBA players stopped games in 2020 after Jacob Blake was shot, it hit different. Because they weren't just entertainers in that moment. They were workers using their power. And that's what bothers people like him. Because the whole shut up and play crowd, they don't actually want sports without politics. They want sports with only their politics allowed. Military flyovers? Fine. National anthem ceremonies? Fine. Police appreciation nights? Fine. Politicians showing up courtside? Also fine. But let a black athlete say, hey, maybe stop killing us? And suddenly everybody wants to talk about keeping politics out of sports. That ain't how this works. Fans support these players through injuries, trades, losses, bad seasons, heartbreaks, and everything else. So when those same players stand up for the communities that made them, that's not disrespecting the game. That's honoring the people who built that game. And maybe that's why he got booed. Not just because people don't like him, but because he walked into a league he has spent years disrespecting, surrounded by fans and players who know exactly what he thinks of them when they speak up. You can't spend years telling the NBA to shut up, then act shocked when the arena has something to say back. So yeah, you know what? Call it scheduling conflicts if you want, but sometimes the schedule says one thing and the crowd says another.
Hold on. Forget whether you love or you hate Donald Trump for a second. Just watch this. Understand something. That is the President of the United States getting booed at the NBA Finals. Now, before you guys jump in the comments, I'm not talking Democrat. I'm not talking Republican. I'm talking leadership. But hear me out. And listen, I'm saying that because when somebody reaches the highest office in the country and people start acting like that, it says something. Maybe about him or maybe about the country, but it definitely says something. Hear me out. But this is the part that got me thinking, right? So a lot of people don't like Donald Trump. That's nothing new. But when people who supported you start turning on you, because I'm talking about like when the people who once had your back start questioning you, that's a whole different conversation. And it's just the realness of it, right? Because whether you're a president, a business owner, a father, a creator, whatever it is, one of the hardest things that you will ever have to face is losing the support of people you thought will always support you. And again, this isn't about who you're voting for. This is about perception. This is about respect. This is about what happens when the people that used to support you stop believing in what you're doing. I'm just saying, what do you think? Do you think this was just politics, or does this say something bigger about where our country is right now?
Since when Trump be at Knicks games? Now all of a sudden we're winning. He want to be here.
If the Knicks lose tonight, I blame Trump.
I don't want Trump at the game. I don't want no new people at the game.
He's coming to game 3 of the finals, and I don't want him there. It has everything to do with him disrupting and contributing at the same time to the chaos. If it causes the New York Knicks to lose tonight, I'm blaming him. I'm blaming the President of the United States.
Stephen A. in a bright pink suit and a bright pink tie ranting about Donald Trump going to a Knicks game. That's what I want out of sports media. That is perfection.
Shortly after we leave the studio, Trump will depart his golf club in New Jersey for Midtown Manhattan, where he will attend Game 3 of the NBA Finals at Madison Square Garden, which will bring traffic to a standstill, require ticket holders to arrive hours early for security checks, and force the cancellation of the watch party outside MSG for people who don't have tickets, which is just about everyone. Trump is expected to be booed, probably.
They better boo the shit
Also,
out
there's
of
going to be an unfavorable split screen with actual Knicks fan Zoran Mamdani, who coughed up $1,000 for a standing room only ticket. Why do you guys think Trump's doing this?
I mean, he knows the power of live professional sports, and that's the only like kind of monocultural events we really have left. That's why he goes to a lot of games. Usually it's the NFL. He went to the Super Bowl. Usually he's more welcome in those, you know, sort of southern NFL spaces. I don't think he will be here. I mean, he's also buddies with James Dolan, I think, the owner of the Knicks.
Always pals with the owners.
Yeah.
Not a real player guy.
Yeah, no, but like, look, he loves the limelight. He loves every spotlight, and he will attempt to co-opt this one too.
He doesn't give a shit about anyone but himself. Like, we know this. When you have to decide whether the President of the United States is going to attend an event like that, when the service tells you what it's going to require security-wise, and they tell you that, well, as a consequence, it's going to inconvenience quite a few Americans, then sometimes the president's like, well, do I really want to piss off that many people by doing this? Is it really that important if my going means a whole bunch of other... And then you say, well, maybe not. Maybe it's not that important for me to go. Imagine, Trump would never say that.
Yeah, I think he just wants to go to the game. He doesn't give a fuck. He wants to go to the game. He wants to sit there. He wants to be booed by New Yorkers. He wants to like be the center of attention. He doesn't care. There's gonna be 2-hour waits outside. They had to barricade whole parts of Midtown Manhattan to make this possible. They had to cancel the watch. He doesn't give a fuck. I hope whoever is on the ones and twos, it's just go, Mamdani cheers like crazy, Trump boos. Go back and forth. Give us a couple back and forth.
A bunch of cool celebrities who always go to games, like Timothy Chalamet and Tracy Morgan and Ben Stiller, who will be like on the wood with the people, like enjoying the game, and Trump will be up hiding in a luxury box, like kind of lurking from behind, hoping he doesn't get booed.
President have meeting, phone calls, briefing, and responsibility that don't disappear just because there is a basketball game happening But let's be honest, when you attend one of the biggest sporting events in America, get booed loudly by thousands of fans, create a security situation that disrupts the normal experience of everyone attending, and then decide not to return for the next game. People are going to connect the dots, and they are going to do it fast. Whether that is fair or not is beside the point, because perception matters. And this story is bigger than one uncomfortable moment inside NBA arena. The relationship between Donald Trump and the NBA has been strained for years. This isn't sudden disagreement that appear overnight. For years, Trump has criticized athletes who use their platform to speak about political and social issues. He has repeatedly expressed frustration with players who discuss topics such as racist injustice, voting rights, police reform, and inequality. The message has often sounded the same: stick to sport, shut up, and play. But basketball has never worked that way. The NBA has always been more than just a game. Many of the league's bigger stars came from neighborhoods facing real challenges. They understand what many fans experience because they have lived in it themselves. They know what it feels like to watch communities struggle while powerful people tell them to stay quiet. So when NBA players speak out, many fans don't see politics. They see authenticity. They see people using their influence to address issues that affect their families, friends, and communities. This tradition didn't start with today's players. It started back generation. That's why Bill Russell matter. That's why Kareem Abdul-Jabbar matter. That's why athletes throughout history have used their platform to challenge injustice. And that's why moments like the NBA player protest in 2020 resonate so deeply with millions of people. In those moments, players wasn't acting as entertainers. They were acting as workers who understood the power they collectively possessed. And that idea makes some people uncomfortable, because when players discovered their influence, they became harder to control. Here is where the debate gets interesting. Many people who demand that policy stay out of sport don't actually want policy removed from sport. They just want certain policy removed. Military flyovers, no problem. National attention ceremony, no problem. Police appreciation night, no problem. Politicians sitting outside of camera, no problem. But when a black athlete speaks about racist injustice and demand accountability, suddenly people start talking about keeping policy out of sport. That contradicts. Sport have always reflect society. They always will. The question isn't whether policy belong in sport. The question is whose policy are considered acceptable. And the NBA fans base is diversified. The league players are outspoken. Its culture has often embraced conversation about social issues. So when Trump walked into that arena, he wasn't entering neutral territory. He was entering a league he has spent years criticizing. A league filled with players who have rejected the shut up, play mentality. A league whose fans has repeatedly support athletes speaking on issues beyond basketball. That doesn't mean every fans agree politically, not even close. But it does not mean many in that building are already familiar with Trump's history of comments regardless of athletes and activities. So when the boos came, some saw it as a simple political reaction. Others see it as something deeper, a response to years of tension between a political figure and a sport culture that value player expression. Maybe Trump aspects from Game 4 isn't about schedule. Maybe it is it. Only people inside those planning meetings know for sure. But regardless of the reason, the moment sparked a larger conversation. Can powerful people criticize athletes for speaking out and then express applause when they enter those athlete spaces? Can you spend years telling a league to be quiet and then be surprised when the crowd has something to say? Because sometimes the schedule say one thing and the crowd say another. What happened at the NBA finals wasn't just about one politician. It was about sport, power, free expression, and the ongoing debate over who gets to use their platform and how. And that debate isn't ending anytime soon. Now we want to hear from you. Do you think Trump skipped Game 4 because of scheduling conflict or because of the reaction he received at Game 3? Should athletes use their platform to speak on political and social issues? Is there a double standard when it comes to policy in sports? Were the boos justified, or should policy stay out of sporting events entirely? Let us know in the comment below. If you enjoyed this video, please support True Verdict channel by giving this video a like, share it with your friends and family, subscribe for more commentary. Your support helps us continue bringing conversation that challenge narrative, examine the facts, and encourage critical thinking. Thank you for watching. This is Truth Verdict. We'll see you in the next one.